Okay, this is for the pecan pie recipe. This is the pie crust that we've made already. We have all our ingredients here and then the pie tin. So let's go ahead and roll out our pie crust. We want to take flour and lightly dust it. Shouldn't have any crumbs because everything should be cold enough. Keep in mind, just like with knife cut day, you are in charge of how it rolls. Okay, so make sure you tell the pie crust where to go. Don't let it become all wonky. You just have to shape it the way you want it to shape. We'll have some extra pie crust left over, so you can always take the extra trimmings and make a little snack with it. Always want to flour, flip, flour again. So when I'm feeling for is if it's thick or thin on one end, so I can feel that it's a little thick on this side, I'm gonna even it out. And then you wanna make sure it's big enough for your pie, which it is. And at this point, because it's much larger, you want to kind of use the rolling pin for a little help. You don't need to do anything to the pan. You just lay crust right on top, and then you want to place your hand in it and like give it some guidance. Usually like to bring it closer to the edge so that when I do cut off, it's a bigger piece, but however you guys like to do it. Once you've pressed it in, you're gonna go ahead and take your knife and go ahead and cut around. And I always like to leave a little bit of an edge to it. I don't like to cut straight to the pie tin because I might want to do a design or one side might get a little too short. It's just for insurance purposes. And then you have all this extra pie dough and you'll set it aside and you can make snacks or re-roll it into another pie. I tuck in everything that's extra. I tuck the open end in. And once you've tucked everything in, you can do different versions. I'm gonna do a couple different kinds on this pie crust just so you can see, but normally people like to stick to one. If you like lightly pinch your fingers together, this is a very traditional pie crust design. You can also do a fork, or you can do a 2-finger pinch. Okay, and you see the difference. So this one was a 4-finger pinch, this one was a fork, and then this one was a 2-finger pinch. You can decide which one you'd like. And then you go ahead and take your fork, poke the bottom. And this pie crust you can actually use for savory too. So if you would like to make a chicken pot pie, you can use the same crust. Now let's go ahead and set this in the fridge and we'll go ahead and make the filling. You're gonna take this bowl and you're gonna take the sugar and brown sugar, salt, and the corn syrup. Try to make sure you get all of it. So use a rubber spatula. Then you're gonna take the butter, which is melted, and then go ahead and get that mixed together. Add the eggs and the vanilla. And then once you get the egg and vanilla in, let's go ahead and switch out to a whisk. Start off slow, and then as it incorporates, you can go faster. And you wanna add the pecan, fold, get your spatula again, and mix it all in. And then we'll grab the pie tin and pour it in with it. Okay, we have our pie crust now, and go ahead and pour the filling in. You want to scrape everything and then make sure that it's nice and even, and then we'll pop it in the oven for 60 minutes. Okay, so this is the pecan pie. It's been about 53 minutes, so you might want to check around 50 minutes. It might even take to 60 minutes depending on how many people open the oven, but this is what the end product should look like. It should have a jiggle factor, but not a liquid factor, so a little bit different. And then another way to check it is always to use a cake tester and see if it comes out clean, which it is. And that's your pecan pie. Let it cool for a good amount of time, at least as long as you can, and then go ahead and divide it up with your classmates.